I think I've noticed something. And I think I've noticed this a long time ago. And I kept on kind of putting it off because I was thinking, man, you're going crackers. You're dealing with your own stuff and you are over analyzing, you're hyper functioning and just trying to live and try to get things done. And you are, girl, you are tired. But I keep seeing it, and I noticed this with a friend of mine who happens to have a non hidden disability, whereas mine, it's epilepsy, and while that's bad enough, it can be somewhat hidden up until it can't be, because that's the nature of a hidden or invisible disability. There are some disabilities where it's more obvious, and you're seeing it, and I've noticed that a lot of people with disabilities end up finding themselves being funneled through the homeless care system. And this is really uncomfortable before they can get services, before they can find their way and places that are better for them. They end up being in a place where you're like, this is how we treat the most vulnerable among us, those that need the most help and the most love. And the sad thing is, I think it's been going on far longer than I have been alive, since maybe before your grandfather was alive or your great grandfather. People having to go through a system where they are systematically, for many ways, treated like crap. And it feels a bit like one of my worst nightmares, because at one point I was being threatened with a group home because of my disability, the epilepsy, and because a certain person thought that I was too dumb to be independent, that I couldn't be for whatever reason. And I have seen the issues and the pain and the struggle of people who cannot really hide themselves. They are right out there in the open. You can see it, whether it's dyslexia, whether it's something else entirely, where you're like, yeah, but you really need something. And my stuff pales in comparison. And I have had people saying, you don't really belong in that category for the most part, because you're not there. But there have been times where I have needed help, and sometimes, in a way, there are times where bad things might have actually been a bit of a blessing in disguise. And I'm going to quote Sophia from the Golden Girls: why do blessings wear disguises? If I were a blessing, I would run around naked. And, like, it was crap. I went through crap, and I am still dealing, and I still have nightmares because of it. And trying to pull myself into a better place and seeing good things happening and seeing light, but really, really just finding my way through. And this is a culture that we have where the homeless are treated as really, really awful things. And sometimes you'll hear people who call themselves Christians saying things like, well, homeless people just want that for whatever reason. They choose that, or treating them like they are worse than vermin. And why does the most vulnerable of the population have to go through a system where they are considered worse than crap? And it doesn't really make sense to me, but the fact that people have had to go through that to find the services that they need to be able to live independently or find their way makes me sick. The world does not need that. And the fact that there are so many barriers that you have to cross, and the fact that I just saw a victory for a friend who, I can't give things away. That would be improper for me. But I saw her finally gain that victory. And I have seen her struggling with some basic stuff, even while she's one of the most highly intelligent people I've ever met. And I mean, she was an architecture major, so, but to see that and to realize that there are people who may or may not be able to put two and two together, who are being funneled through this rather than finding a place where they can be loved and respected and not fed, honest to goodness, really crappy, sugary, fatty food that is not good for them. And doesn't, food should taste good. It needs to be healthy, it needs to be balanced, and it needs to taste good. And, all the encompassing mental health problems and everything else, physical health problems not getting better because, quite frankly, the food is horrible, the exercise is kind of non-existent unless you really work at it. Me, I like to take the stairs a lot. I still do my zombies run here and there. Grab the headphones, turn on Alice in Chains, and just whatever. But how did we get to this place as a society where we treat people that we love and the most vulnerable like such hot shit? How? And how has this been going on for so long? And there's really not a lot of points. I am just angry and I am venting because it is sodding ridiculous. And I don't know what it's like in other countries, but from what I can see, how we treat those that need the most love and the most care is absolute sodding crap. And listen, guys, I am going to stop ranting. I do not know how to end this video, except to say, I love you. Please take really, really good care of yourselves. Wear good shoes. If your shoes have holes in them and they're falling apart, please, for the love of all that's holy, please replace them. Eat well, or as well as you can. Drink a lot of water. Please drink your water. The weather's going to be heating up eventually. It's about, I'm going to say maybe, well, it was 37 Fahrenheit today, so it was really, not really, maybe 7 degrees Celsius today, so, but it'll warm up. So, make sure that you have plenty of water. Make sure that you work really, really hard to get in healthy foods. And if you're really having a struggle with something, please say something. And if you're afraid, please say something. Find something. And if you have to rely on certain things, please know that you're loved and that you are a worthwhile, good human being. I love you. Mama Beth loves you.